host, Sophia. And today, my guest is Junie Moon. And I love that.
So nice. I like it too.
And anyway, let me tell you a little bit about um, Junie is the best-selling author of Loving the Whole Package and host of the Midlife Love Out Loud podcast. Her work has been featured on ABC, NBC, NPR, Fox, the news. The New York Post. I was looking for more letters because it's like you did the
I've been around. I've been around.
News 12 New Jersey, Thrive Global, and Authority Magazine. Her award winning short film, Shed the Shame, was showcased at the Newark International Airport and continued.
Oh, I gotta hop in here, right? It's because there was a typo, and I still can't believe, and it must have been a chat thing with my bio where it says that the film aired in the Newark airport. No, it like I was not in the Newark airport other than flying somewhere. It is the International Newark Film Festival. Oh my god, how many people have that bio that say I was in an airport? I'm sorry, I had to interrupt you. It's just hysterical when I hear that I've been in an airport with my film. Anyway, continue on, my dear.
Well, hey, I didn't think anything of it because depending on the airport, sometimes they're screening like full on stuff. So
Maybe I'm missing an opportunity there.
I'm like, you have all the letters. Maybe she got the airport too. All right, let me continue telling you about this lady. Um, oh my gosh. All right, I can already see how this is going to go. There's going to be a whole. All right, so continues to inspire audiences around the world to release long held narratives and live more freely. In 2025, Junie created and hosted Your Best Life, a live studio talk show with heartfelt conversations, expert guests, and a playful dating segment. I want to talk about that. The
Sure.
project showcased her natural on-camera presence and her gift for guiding meaningful dialogue while entertaining and uplifting the room, sparking the next era of her work through bigger platforms, collaborations, and creative projects. Whether she is coaching, speaking, interviewing, or lighting up the stage, Junie's mission is the same: to help people reclaim their radiance, trust their inner wisdom, and experience more love in every corner of their lives. And of course, one thing that I did miss as we were laughing about the airport is that you are also certified shadow coach. So that's something else that we'll have to talk about. Anyway,
Yes.
welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm looking forward to our conversation.
So yeah, this is pretty funny. Yeah, you've got the whole alphabet behind you. Uh, now we have an opportunity for you to showcase in an airport because I guess let's speak it into being, right?
Sure.
But it's pretty cool that you were at the International Film Festival. So
It really was. Yeah.
So, well, let me just ask you this because, yes, I have other questions to ask, but because this is first on my mind, what made you decide to do the short film and how did you end up in the film festival? Because that's a pretty big deal.
It was a big deal. It was so cool on so many levels. I was on in actually a few film festivals, but that was my favorite. It had the red carpet and lots of glitz and glamour. Okay. So it actually ties really well into some of the questions you were going to ask me anyway. I always struggled with body image, body shame, not feeling good enough, and it affected all my relationships. And I I started my first live stream show called Life Out Loud with Junie Moon. That was a really long time ago. And I would interview people. And one of the people I had the opportunity to interview was a very well known, internationally known body painter. And so I hopped on the call with him. I wanted to, make sure he was a good fit. And he said all the right things about the body being beautiful and not just being a sex object and all the good stuff. I said, "Oh my god, I would love to have you on my show. Hey, can you paint me and we'll do that in the segment?" And he said, "Sure."
What?
And then I realized, "Uh-oh, he paints naked people." So, I had to think about it. And then I realized, yes, I'm going to do it. And the reason I did it wasn't to, hey, I'm going to get naked and body painted, but to talk about transformation, to talk about what's possible in life when you heal the stuff, the wounds, the beliefs you've picked up along the way that are still affecting you. And after years of not wanting to leave the house or, like not knowing having something to wear or canceling plans because I felt too fat and trust me, any number on the scale had me feeling that way. I realized I could do this film because of the shadow work that I had done. I had done some deep diving around self-love, around claiming my life on my terms, and being able to literally take off my clothes, get naked, get filmed, and be body painted. And I went, I've gotta make a film out of this. So I did a mini documentary about the before and after and what's possible when it comes to healing. And that actually led to the book because I can't tell you how many people would come up to me on the streets, literally in tears, saying, "Thank you. Thank you for letting me feel less alone. Thank you for sharing your story about my insecurities about my body, about my boobs, about aging, which is a big deal with the population I work with. I specifically work with women that are starting over in love in the second half of life, and bodies have changed. And that led me to write the book, Shed the Shame. So, or Loving the Whole Package. The subtitle is Shed the Shame, and the book is about shadow work and the healing journey and tools to be able to take it to the next level. So I made the film as a service, as an opportunity to share my story, to help others know that healing is possible.
Oh. So you went through and you did the healing first, and then you got painted, and then you put it out there for the world.
Yes, yes. In fact, I don't know why, it was so many years ago, but I uploaded it on 2 different YouTube channels. One has over 25,000 views and the other one has over 26,000 views, and that's just on YouTube, let alone being at these film festivals. So, suffice it to say, I went viral. I've had a lot of people see it. It's the thing I'm most proud of with my show, the, Your Best Life that I did last year as my second, because I was able to share a really important message to that's close to my heart about loving ourselves and it's people say that, love yourself," and it's like, I don't know, there's something about self-love in action versus, "Oh, I love myself." Like, I stand for myself, I have my own back, I left a 20-year marriage and restarted my life and now have the most amazing relationship, and that message I think is so important to get out there, and that's why I do what I do, to help people have hope, to believe that it's possible for them, and then to give them the tools, the inner tools to be able to do it differently next time.
Okay, so all right, I'm just throwing everything else out the window because now I have to go somewhere else. We'll come back.
You go. You go wherever you wanna go. This is fun.
Great. So, what are maybe, and we can revisit this again, but just because we're on the subject, what are maybe one or two tools that people can use to get to the point of self-love in action? Because I love that you said that. Because yeah,
Mm.
and it sounds like such a catchphrase. Oh, just love yourself.
Right, right, right. I've heard enough of that. Instead of yeah, just look in the mirror. I love you. I love you. Yeah.
Can you break it down? Especially somebody who has an analytical mind. It's like, can you break it down?
Yeah.
How I do that? Because
Yeah.
if it was just that easy, I'd already be on the bandwagon, or I can
Okay.
say it, but nothing's changing.
I get it. And welcome to being a human being because Most of us humans stay stuck, and it's just true. Most of us humans keep doing the same thing over and over, and we bitch and moan, we blame other people, we blame society, we don't find those tools. So, the first thing, and it is a tool to some extent, the first thing is to actually get really honest with yourself and realize something's not working in your life. There's something you want different and it's not working for you. So we're in the realm of, this, what I primarily work on is love and relationships. So if you've been dating, if you've been meeting the wrong person over and over, if you keep going into relationships that are not a good fit and you keep losing trust in yourself and trust in the possibility, there's a problem there. If you're in a career that you don't like and you keep finding yourself in challenges, there's a problem there. If you're not healthy, if you have struggles with your health and your body and you keep saying, I'm going to get fit and it doesn't change, there's a problem there. So the first step really is to go, something is off and become aware of the thing. To be honest enough and go, I might be missing something here. And that's the first thing is be aware. Be aware, be honest, be aware. And that's actually a huge piece that most people don't do. They just go, well, maybe it'll kick in or maybe this time or, and then back down the rabbit hole. And that's one of the challenges I see with women in the second half of life is they kept going down the rabbit hole and the rabbit hole and the rabbit hole. And they go, this isn't working. I give up. Let me just make my life the best I can. I am successful in this arena. I have great friends. I have a schedule that's filled with lots of fun stuff. This is good. I'm fine. But fine is not fulfilled, you know? So be honest if there's a part of you that's not fulfilled, if there's a part of you that is not happy with an aspect of your life, then own it. Own it, be aware of it. And then the next tool or piece is to do something different. Now, there's lots of roads to Rome. There's lots of roads to Rome. But what I'll tell you, one road that is not a road that you wanna go on is the looking in the mirror and go, I love myself," because words and affirmations can only take you so far. That's the conscious mind. That's what you know, and, well, if I say this over and over, maybe it'll change. But there's so like, 95% of our brain is conditioned, has all these tapes running in the background in the unconscious mind. So, what I ask people to do is find a modality, for example, like shadow work, that gets beyond that. So the tools, there are many. and s- and I want to give you something concrete and maybe I'll give you an example of how I would even work with someone if you want. But that's the first step is being aware and being honest and then doing something different to move you forward. It's just not words anymore. It's not, you can't think your way out of a habit.
Right. So, okay, tell us a little bit more about what shadow work is. Because again, that's something that, well, depending on where your algorithm takes you, you'll hear that a lot on the internet. Shadow work, shadow work, shadow work. It's like,
Yeah, it's getting there. It's getting there. Yeah, but most people still don't know what it is. Yeah.
it's like, is it behind me? Is it in front of me? Is it beside me? What is
Yeah,
shadow?
yeah. And you're right. The shadow is behind you. And so, okay. So let's talk about what shadow is and what shadow work is. The shadow is a concept by Carl Jung. And Carl Jung came up with this concept of the part of us that we've disowned. A part of us that we go, ooh, I better not show that. I better not be like that. Let me just lock away that piece of me and throw it away. Let me throw it behind me and forget it's there. Things that we throw away are the things that society, our religion, our families, our friends kinda said, "Don't do that. Don't be too big, bright, and shiny." I got that message, so I dimmed my light. I threw my light in shadow. Ooh, I don't wanna be angry like my father was. Not my father wasn't, but, like, maybe people witnessed a parent that was very angry and scary. I don't wanna be like that. That's scary or that hurts somebody. Oh, I don't want to be critical like one of my parents or somebody else. Oh, criticism is bad. Let me throw criticism away. But the problem is when so that's what we put in shadow, these qualities of I better not be like that or I will be not loved. I will be left. I will be judged. I will be kicked out of the tribe, which is the old wiring from eons ago. We need to be loved and safe. So it's a protective mechanism that kicks in at a very young age to fit in and to be accepted and to be loved. So shadow work helps you take back the shadows. Now, why would you want to be critical? Why would you want to be angry? Why would you want to be big, bright, and shiny? Inside the thing that you threw away, the stuff that was judged as bad, it's just energy. It's just a concept. It's just energy. There's gold. So in shadow work, what we do is through different processes, we shine a light on the thing that you lost access to. For example, a lot of women that I work with, and this is a very common thing in general for women, is we're nurturers, we're givers, we're caretakers, and therefore sometimes we are people pleasers. Let's take care of everybody else first because I don't want to look selfish. Shadow, selfish. But inside of
Podcast on that one.
yeah, right. It's a huge topic. And so if we throw away the energy of selfish, oh, I better not be selfish because people will judge me and think I'm really mean or self-absorbed or whatever. But inside the selfish energy is the ability to be healthy selfish. I need to take care of myself. My healthy no, that doesn't work for me. So selfishness as a shadow is I'm just going to do whatever I want. I'm not going to think of anybody else. I want all the goodies and I'm not going to share them, whatever the concept is of unhealthy, shadow, selfish. So, shadow work helps you become a more integrated human being and mine the goals, take back the parts that you threw away so that you're not going to people please. You're going to learn how to take a stand for yourself and ask for your needs to be met and be healthy, selfish, or whatever it is the issue is.
Well, it just sounds like as you're looking at all the things that you don't like about yourself, it's like when you're cleaning up and you keep putting all the stuff in the closet so the living room looks great, but all the crap from the living room's in the closet.
Still in the house. Still in the
But,
house.
and then one day you open the closet and it's like, oh my God. And all this
Yeah.
like right there in your face. And then sometimes it really needs to be right there in your face because you're like, okay, well, now I have to clean out the closet. And
Yeah.
my shadow
Yeah.
work is really turning on that light and cleaning out the closet and taking back the things that you thought were junk or you thought, maybe this is
Bad, harmful, yeah, icky.
you get to look at it and say, hey, maybe from a different perspective, this is something I want to keep. And then
Exactly.
you can say, oh, okay, well, this really was junk. So maybe instead of allowing it to take up space, I can release it and open up space for something else, something that
All right, I wanna add a couple things there. First of all, with shadow work, the model that I was trained in, the original body of shadow work, we don't just open up the closet and have everything come out because that would be scary and overwhelming. So we've learned how to create a safe container, a safe place for people to look at one thing and other things come out, but it's not like what it's like to clean a very messy closet. It's so messy, it's so overwhelming. You're like, "Oh my god, I have to cancel all my plans." so so we go step by step and we do it in a way that really is comfortable yet edgy, but comfortable to be able to claim these parts. Now, here's something that's really important, something you said about releasing it, and the stuff that's icky, we'll just let it go. In shadow work, we we what we say is we need to own all aspects, shadow and light. So even if we go, ooh, that's the bad part that I don't like, we learn how to see it in the light and own it in a way that we're in the driver's seat so it doesn't come out sideways. That's what happens with shadow is when we push something down or we try to hide it, it bites, it's like, "I'm never gonna be angry, I'm never gonna be angry," and then that last straw, and then, "Rawr," and you become the thing you don't wanna be. So we say, "Embrace it all, see it all," and that's when you have choice to choose the healthier part or even choose the not healthy part, but you're in choice. You're in choice.
Okay. Right, and that is a little different. And I'm not sure if you're familiar, but a little bit of this sounds, well, maybe not. All right, maybe I'll bag that for another time. But let me
Okay.
ask you this. How did you, through doing some of the other work that you did and doing work with yourself, become a midlife coach?
Yeah. Oh, well, 20-year marriage, walking on eggshells, 200 pounds, unable to get my needs met because I was afraid of speaking up. It was hard. It was painful. And somewhere along the way, well, when I hit the 200 pounds and I was really miserable, and after trying so many things to lose the weight and keep it off, I realized it wasn't a food problem. I realized it was between my ears and it was a programming problem. It was a conditioning problem. And that's when I'm so lucky that I kind of had shadow work fall in my lap. I was in an event, a workshop, at it they didn't even call it shadow work and it was so profound the transformation I saw of people really tapping into their light and their self-esteem. Um, and that was an issue for me. I was a micromanager and I was put together. Underneath it, I was not really honoring that part that was so vulnerable and scared. So I did my own shadow work and it changed my life. And I lost my weight and I've been in a normal sized body since. That was decades ago at this point. But what happened was my marriage didn't last, and I had to start over, and it was scary after all those years dating online. How do you do it? Um, who am I now in this, in my late 40s and all the stuff, and so I actually had to do it for myself, and I tripped and I fell, and I realized I needed some help. So I hired some more people. So I knew the shadow work. I had gotten really strong within myself. I still had some habits. I had some patterns with men that kept showing up. Needed to do more shadow work. And then I added in how do you date well? And I put it all together. And well, I have the most magnificent partner. But he actually came a little later. I was helping people recreate their second half on their terms with or without a partner. Because I've worked with a lot of successful women that really are good at what they do. They are financially sound. They have a big life. They're proud of what they've created, but sometimes they have a challenging time letting others in, letting the wall down. And again, everybody has a different story. Ultimately, it comes back to the fear of something. And so I've just realized that there were a lot of I've always been working with women, for over 35 years. I've been doing women's empowerment work. And then it just was right in front of me that this was the group of women that I really wanted to work with. I'd been in the trenches. I started helping so many women find and keep their person because I can help people find a person right now, but you want a healthy partnership uh, and go the distance. So that's what brought me into being the midlife love expert at this point. I went through it myself and I learned and got certified and here I am.
So, what are some of the biggest challenges that you see?
Mm. Well, it kind of comes back to the beginning of our first conversation, which is people don't really see their part in it. It took me a while to see my part in it with my marriage. I did the blame game. He's a spicy character and and but I could rake him over the coals and there'd be a lot of it that's true, but I allowed it. And there were aspects of my stuff that created that dynamic. So the biggest thing I see is women self-sabotage without realizing that they're self-sabotaging. They get in their own way. They think having the best profile or the best pictures or, knowing the best strategies is going to help them find their person. But what they don't realize is they have some hidden patterns that push men away, that don't allow a man to really be there for them, that they're hyper vigilant because they don't want to experience the same pain that they've had in the past. Or here's actually a very common one with your population is they don't want to blow up their life. I've got a successful life. I've got a successful entertainment calendar with my friends. I don't wanna be a nurse or a purse. I don't believe there's anybody there for me that's gonna meet me at the place I'm at, and if they're gonna not meet me there, I don't wanna lower my standards, which sometimes people do, self-sabotage again. I always say, "Do not lower your standards." Um, but that's what happens is they self-sabotage in either being too strong with the walls around their heart or they go back and slip into the old patterns and then they lose faith in themselves. They stop trusting themselves. So women are getting in their own way and they are part of creating exactly what they have, not having the partner that they want. And I just see it all the time. I mean, oh, there are no good guys out there. They're all taken or blah, 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 blah. Well, I have the opposite proof of my clients that have found amazing men and I met amazing men too. Before I met my honey. Um they were great men, they just weren't my man. But when you are so clear about what you want and your bottom line and you've done the work, the healing work of letting go of the past overall. I mean, we're not perfect. I'm not perfect. Um Things change, but sacrificing, not sacrificing, sabotage, and I keep saying that, it's interesting. I usually don't say that, I'm like, "What am I saying? Sacrificing." Yeah, well, people sacrifice themselves, which would be a self-sabotage as well.
And it's interesting that I don't wanna be a nurse or a purse, and it's kind of funny because, like, once you hit the mid-40s, those are sometimes you get a lot of that. Either
Yeah,
young ones are looking for somebody to take care of, and it's like, "No, not your mom." Or the older ones are, like, falling apart, and
there's some truth there.
nursemaid, so I I understand the concept of it, but I also see that that could just also be a shield so that you're not open to actually seeing somebody out there who could be your person, who's help
Yeah,
who has their own beautiful life, and the
yes.
two beautiful lives can come together and just have like, okay, Pollyanna here, like one big utopia.
No, you're like truth, truth, truth. Everything you just said is spot on. And then people get out of Dodge way too fast because they're scared. There's a part inside of us I call the risk manager. And that risk manager has been around forever, watching everything go down and go, well, I'm not going to let her do that again. I'm going to protect her. And it overshoots. And I have a client who chose very consciously to be with this man knowing that his finances weren't so solid. He was an exceptional person. She saw that. He fit all the most important things. And she basically said, and I always say this, if you can't accept it, you need to do the work before you dive in. But she's like, I'm in. I'm in because we can figure it out. And she even said would rather be with him with a little less than have somebody who's rolling in dough, and he was just an exceptional human being, and she's thrilled. She's happy, and yeah, sometimes she shares that there's some bumps, but they're in it together, and I think, this is a throwaway society, so it's like, "Oh, next, next, next." That's what happens a lot in dating. It just is, but to give people some time, get to know each other, make sure that you are a right fit. Don't jump in too quickly, but don't jump out too fast.
Right. And I think it's so easy. It's easy in a very swipe world, right? Swipe left, swipe right, and then so you get the person in person, so you're actually there in real life.
Yeah.
But there's the way I see it, like there are two sides to this one coin. There's the side where you're dating potential, which is not a good thing because
Nope, nope,
they
nope.
never completely achieve their potential. Or the other
Right.
side of the coin that you just mentioned, they may not have the financial status or whatever it is that was on the list, but because met so many of the other things that match your values,
Yes.
that are aligned with who you are from the inside out, that yes, you can give that person a chance because working together, maybe you get to build that thing, or maybe you don't. Maybe you just have less, and maybe you're cool with that. But I think one of the things you said that makes so much sense is, can you accept it? Because if you
Yeah.
accept it,
There's
then do the
pain.
person a favor and peace out. Because
Both of you. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I work with people one on one and I have programs, and there's this one particular process I do. It's called the relationship blueprint experience. And this particular experience does exactly what you just said. We get so clear on values. And I'm not talking about he has to be funny or he has to be, loyal. I mean, all like we all want the same things, qualities. But is he into the same things? Does he have the same view of the world, spirituality, uh, health, wellness, all the important things, right? And when you are so clear about who you are and your values, and then you see the person, if their blueprint of who they are does not match your blueprint, they either need to change their blueprint, you either need to change your blueprint, or there needs to be some compromise. Otherwise, there's just pain. There's just pain. So I am in 100% agreement with you. And so that woman was like, yeah, it was on her list, financially sound, you know? And so I said, you either need to accept that he is who he is and he's not changing his blueprint anytime soon. No dating a potential. I love that you said that because it's so true. Can you change your blueprint and accept him for who he is? Or do you say it's not gonna work? Otherwise, you're gonna be nagging him and you're gonna be angry at yourself and blah, 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 blah. So exactly, exactly. You're spot on.
yeah, because I know some of the people I've worked with are going out with someone, and it's like, well, I wish that he would have, or I wish that he would. Well, if you're wishing, that means you're not accepting who he is
Yeah.
right now. So if
Or
you,
you're not being clear enough to let him know that this is something you want,
right,
wishing and hoping versus, honey, I want to go on this vacation. Let's discuss.
right, or just even I wish that he was different in some kind of way, or I wish that
Yeah.
he was different, because
Yeah.
a lot of women, it's like I'm going. It's like, okay, I guess the best way I can put this is I don't see dating as Build-A-Bear.
I remember Build-A-Bear. My kid loved Build-A-Bear. Yeah, it, like, brings back memories. So,
It's like
great analogy.
you don't just like find the clothes and put it on and find the this and put it on. It's like
Right, right, right. It doesn't work
you're
like that.
pain built.
Yeah, yeah, you got the bear. He's got his outfit. Yeah, maybe you could sew a button on, but seriously.
Right. You don't get to change the bear.
Yeah,
The
I'm like,
bear, if the bear wants to change, that's different.
yeah,
If the
yeah,
bear
and that's
wants
growth. Yeah,
yeah.
and you guys can do it together. Yeah, yeah, right on, right on. Yeah. So, you asked me what the biggest challenge is, and I said self-sabotage. And what I'm gonna add to that is readiness. A lot of people think they're ready for a relationship. They want the relationship. They've done the work, they've read the books. I'm ready. With that said, I think most women that struggle in love have a readiness problem because they're not fully ready. It's that stuff that we're talking about that hasn't been cleared, that hasn't been grounded, that they're not fully ready to let down that wall or to be able to have healthy communication, or they're scared of some of the other things that have happened in the past, and they're running out of that kind of fear. Again, all the unconscious. So, I always say that it's the most common thing is a readiness problem. In fact, just to throw out here, I have a quiz. I'm happy to give you a link to it where it literally says where you are on the relationship readiness scale, and it's discover your love avatar. So it's like 10 questions, but these questions will pinpoint how ready are you, and you'll be one of 3 um avatars to help you, and then you get a full workbook to, like, help you really become more ready.
Okay, so is this a free assessment?
Yep,
Oh, okay.
yep,
So yes, please send me the link and we can put it in the show notes. So
yeah.
you can just go right there and get it and do the assessment. Because I think I like that you say it's a readiness problem because you're right. A lot of people say I'm ready, but at the same time, maybe you're ready to learn something different.
Mm,
You don't always know who you are in relationship if you're not in relationship. So you can heal on your own and then it's like, yeah, I'm ready. And then you get into the relationship and you're like, oh shit, trigger, trigger, sound, trigger, trigger. And then
yeah,
that I think that is also a learning experience so that you get to figure out, okay, this triggered me. I didn't like that and
mhm,
to work on this. So then you can refine. So it's almost
yeah.
you make the sculpture. Sculpture's not quite done yet. So you don't put it in the oven yet, but you keep it there. And then you're like, okay, well, let me just refine it.
Do a little this and a little that.
Let me just move that.
Well, relationships, and I love relationship. I just love them because I love growth. I love expansion. I love learning about myself. Relationships are the perfect place to learn and grow. Absolutely. With that said, the women that come to me, I help them get to a place where they're ready for that container that's going to push them. Because no matter how you slice it, a relationship's gonna poke you. And if you're in the right relationship, it's great because then you could grow together or grow on your own with their support. Too many people hop into a relationship without doing some of this work, and then yeah, it's growth, but it's also drama, and I live that. I live that over and over until I was like, "Okay, there is a pattern here. I am not choosing the right person for me." And that was the deeper shadow work. Why do I keep picking this person? Or why am I avoiding that kind of person? And once I got that so clear, and that's what I help my clients with now. So when you can get so clear about what is that person? What is that fit that you're looking for? And of course, it's coming from you. Then you could build something and have those bumps, have those triggers in a place that you can relax and be safe to explore and grow together. It's magical. I mean, I have that with my partner. We have our bumps, but we grow. Can be a little uncomfortable a little bit sometimes. But in those moments of discomfort, I also know I'm safe.
Right. And I think that is the key. Do you feel safe? Is your nervous system safe with
Yes.
that person? Can you exhale when you're with that person? And if you can, then yeah, maybe you are ready to take on the challenges that come with it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we want to be with somebody who's ready to take on the challenges that come with it.
Right,
And
right, and that's the thing, yeah.
have that
Very
idea, oh, it's okay, of what the relationship is supposed to look like, whether on the male or female side, and not looking at this is us. Oh, I love that show. Anyway, I digress.
oh, wasn't it the best? I mean, seriously, talk about relationships. I mean, that show really showed the nuances of all that we're talking about, everything that we're talking about.
But if you
Yeah.
could say this is us, and then this is our relationship, and this is how
I am.
we relate versus
Yeah.
I want a relationship like my grandma and my grandpa. It's like you don't know what happened between when you went to bed. You don't know what happened behind closed doors. You just know what you
Yeah. Yeah, we idealize other people's relationships.
Yeah, so I think that is an important part of being in relationship too, is both parties being willing to have whatever your relationship looks like.
Yeah. Absolutely. And one thing I remember learning a long time ago, there's a you in the relationship. There's a them, there's a me, and there's a we, you know? So sometimes it's going to be a me thing and I got to do my thing. It's going to be a him thing. He's got to do his thing. And then there's, the Venn diagram. It's like there's an overlap and there's a we.
Right.
And in that we place is the, conversation that, hey, we need to look at this because it's affecting us. Um, yeah, yeah.
Well, I remember when I had my therapy clients, I had individual clients and I had couple clients. And I had to let the couple clients know that I am not looking at you guys individually. The couple is the client. The couple
Yes.
is the therapy unit.
Yep.
If you want somebody to look at things individually, then go get your own.
Yeah, exactly.
But for
Yep.
here, it's the couple. And I think a lot of people aren't to the point where they're completely weeing.
Yes, yes, we need to "we" a little bit more. But that's even that discerning, it's like people sometimes, again, often point fingers and don't realize they're part of it. It's like, if it's affecting you both, it's a "we," and how to have good dialogue, like how to have those difficult conversations. Most people have not been taught how to have good communication. I mean, that's huge. It's a huge part of what I teach in my programs, because if you don't know how, well, first you need to know yourself, right? You need to know what's going on inside of yourself before you even have that conversation. But to be able to really come forth with what's going on and then speak it in a way that they can hear it without the finger pointing, so that you're in it together. And that's a whole different ball of wax.
Definitely. So I love this conversation. If
Yeah, this is
people
great.
want to find you, how can they do that?
Thanks for asking. My website is midlifeloveoutloud.com. Midlifeloveoutloud.com. And my quiz actually lives there. So if you go there, it's right on the main page. You can click and have the quiz. It's also where you can see my podcast, and there's a lot of good content there to learn from. And Midlife Love Out Loud is my handle on all the platforms as well. I do a lot on Instagram and yeah, and YouTube, same thing, same name. Lots of trainings on YouTube as well. So that's also another place.
Okay, so it sounds like uh, we can follow you on Instagram and get a lot of good info, or we can go to your YouTube channel and get a lot of good training,
Yep. Yep.
and we can head to your website and get it all.
Get it all, one-stop shopping, and then you can do the quiz. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much for being with us today. I really appreciate that you were here and all the things that you really brought to light. And yes, pun intended.
Aw, thank you. You really brought a lot to this conversation. So many great questions and obviously so much understanding. It was wonderful to talk with you about this.
Well, hopefully we will talk to each other again, but until then, we'll talk later.
Sounds great.